I'm going to do the standard test, seeing if this is working. I think it will. Yup. Alright, sweet. So this year, after Kia started doing them for years and years, I started to do them last year. So here is kind of the 4th and 1 connected franchise team lookout for my team. Back to New England this year. 49ers last year, and then normally New England before that. But here we are. We're back in the AFC East, ready to kick things off. We'll just go ahead and look right at the roster. Out goes Jimmy G from last year. In goes Tom Brady. Finally, with his abilities, they made him and actually really good. I mean, his X Factor ability is not the greatest. I mean, it's nice, especially if you're running RPOs or you have a quick strike offense, which I kind of do, because then you're going to get those pro reads to flash earlier. Or say you're running deeper developing play and you have a guy short and you're too busy. I mean, I don't have that issue, but if you're trying to stare down receivers and you actually get time in this game in the pocket, then you'll get that shallower, shorter guy flashing for you to check down to. It's not amazing, but it's definitely not bad. You could have a trucking quarterback zone ability. Superstar abilities, pocket lead, so extended ability on range, under pressure, except on high or low throws, which is not bad at all. It's nice. Hot Route Master, easily one of the best superstar abilities in the game. I have all the extra special hot routes for every single receiver, no matter what. So that's awesome. The clutch one, I haven't looked at this one yet. Maybe it just makes your zone ability less. I'm not really staring a ton at how to get him in the zone in the fourth quarter. Um, but I guess, yeah. I'll have to check this out next time and see more. But protected, the best one by far. Protected. Getting better pass pro when I already have a decent offensive line it's huge. I really can tell and notice the difference just in terms of blocking compared to when I sub in my backup quarterback and play with him. Night and day. I mean, it's still good without this, but with this, it makes it from a top 3 or 4 O line to the best without question. And then conductor. This one is nice because it speeds up my hot route. So he's got a lot of and I was disappointed at first. You see Patrick Mahomes has or Philip Rivers has red zone dead eye. There's people with the dashing dead eye, red zone dead eye, mid dead eye, deep dead eye. There's all of those where they have perfect accuracy on things in the red zone. It's oh, Tom Brady's one of the best red zone quarterbacks ever. I don't know why but they only have 5 superstar ability slots. And I mean, you could give him 9 things and it'd be accurate, but you can't make him overpowered because, then you'll get those mutt cheese balls getting mad that, oh, Tom Brady's a great quarterback in mutt. Why aren't the mobile quarterbacks better? So I get it a little bit. He's almost ready for an upgrade, though, which is nice. Progression history. I've played 2 games already, so yeah, but still really good. 91 throw power, which isn't too bad for how they spread out the quarterback throw power. He used to be a 95, 96, which I always thought was horrible. I thought he should be around an 88 to 92 range, 90, 91, probably best suiting where he is. So I think that's good. Throw power to me doesn't matter. You can have an 84 throw power, and I don't chuck it deep much at all. So 99 awareness, short, play action, really good. 90 under pressure, 98 mid, 89 deep, which is kind of hilarious. That should be an 80. 60 speed, which Tom Brady's got, I think, a rushing touchdown already this year. Yeah, he's got 13 yards rushing and a touchdown, so that's decent. That's fun. Um, we'll go back. We'll look at, and then so in our league, we had for our first time ever a carryover draft. So right when our franchise ended in what is this, Madden 20? I think we're on. Yeah, Madden 20. In Madden 19, once our connected franchise was done, we immediately had a carryover draft where we went through a full draft. Everyone could choose one player to carry over. We slightly adjusted like some awareness and ratings to get the ratings spread still to carry over and all that stuff, and then imported their contract, their age, adjusted their dev so nobody got any superstar or superstar X Factor players. So if you were normal or quick dev in 19, you had a normal dev now, and if you had star or superstar, you have star. So this is my guy drafted. His name was Reed Prater, but I changed him to Tanner Morgan from University of Minnesota. Shout out Gophers, go Gophers. Um, yeah, he's a solid rookie to build around. I'm gonna try and work on his improviser, um, just because I really like those zone abilities and superstar abilities that improvisers get instead of a scrambler. I mean, but he's a good scrambler. I'm not the biggest runner with my quarterback, but he's got an 82 speed, 89 agility, 87 acceleration, 98 injury. So he's really, and, overall he can carry the ball fairly. I mean, his carrying's a little low for being a scrambling quarterback, which is kind of funny. Thanks, EA. Um, 80 short, 83 mid, 77 deep, 89 throw power, 87 throw under pressure, which is huge. Play action, I really don't care about. I don't run play action a ton because play action blocking is absolutely awful. And then we obviously, they have all the good traits, so he has good traits. Um, so it'll be fun to use and see him. So far, he's already had a couple upgrades: a break sack, throw mid, under pressure. So overall, he's a solid guy. I won't have to. He was a first round pick. He had a superstar development in Madden 19. Wish he would have carried over a little bit and got an X Factor player. But either way, it'll be fun to use him once his time comes after Brady retires in a year. Hopefully he comes back for another. Running back room I'm pretty excited about. I've made a couple trades. I cut bait with Rex Burkhead. Just didn't. He's way too slow for me. I can't use an 84 speed running back. We did sign LeGarrette Blount, who lasted a game, and after he had like 3 carries for -1 yards just because he's not fast or elusive at all, cut bait with him. But Sony Michel's our top back. Really like him this year, especially how he's rated. He's got decent speed. He can kind of juke you out. His juke move and elusiveness are really good. It's nasty. And he can still bull you over. So he's kind of a versatile, not one trick pony kind of running back. He's not bad catching out of the backfield. He doesn't have low stamina where he gets tired after 2 carries. So he can catch decent. He can carry the ball 18, 20 times a game. And he can, whether you want to run like a shotgun zone or an under center, even kind of a shotgun power run scheme, he's good at either one of them. So far on the year, I think he's averaging like 80 yards a game. Yeah, 81. He had 99 last game, 63 in the season opener, but James White also had like 90 rushing yards in game 1, where I had to keep running James White because he was just gashing for 9 yards a pop. So, I'm really hoping I'm trying to get 1,300 yards with him. 1,300, 12 touchdowns, etc. Just because I really enjoy how he runs and plays in this game. Then we get into James White. Really like James. I love my running backs this year, which is why I'm trying to go more of a, I guess, running balanced type offense instead of where I'm normally air it out, throw it around, which I did last game anyways. 89 speed. He's not a burner, but he's got great juke moves, spin moves, elusiveness, break tackle, vision. He's not going to run you over, but he's going to go by you for sure. So he's a really decent running back. He's probably a higher rated running back than he should be. I mean, his catching stuff I think's a little low. I think he should have 80 plus catching, 80 short, 75 or 6 mid. Pass blocking needs to be a little bit lower. Catch traffic's decent, release is decent. Spec catch maybe up a little bit. Kick return, I don't know why in God's name it's that high. He's not that good of a kick returner. Stamina injury, whatever. Toughness, I think, could be up. I didn't even know it was a 69, but that's pretty bad. Either way, he's definitely a better runner of the football in Madden than he is in real life. I mean, New England, for a reason, doesn't sit here and give James White 15 carries a game ever. I think he has like his most ever is like 8 or 9. But anyways, oh well. I'll take it in Madden. He's really good. He's got, high motor, cover all hits, fight for yards. So that's he's a great passing back, receiving back. And as you can see, he didn't do a ton in the rushing game. Last game, he only had 20 yards rushing, and he had 73 yards in the first game. And those were all like, he had. I guess he only had one big run, but that's why. I thought I ran him a lot more than that. Anyways, receiving is where he's really good at. He had 121 yards. And this 121 yards was the same game he had 73 yards rushing. So he had 200 yards of offense almost by himself. And then he had 87. So he's averaging 7 catches a game. So he's the new Gronk for me. He's the guy I just throw it to all the time. Picked up Wendell Smallwood in free agency just to give me another receiving back in case anything happens to Sony Michel. And then I really like Damian Harris in terms of that kind of, first and second down back roll in case anything ever happened to Sony Michel. I mean, he's not really elusive and he's not going to juke you out or anything, but he can run you over between the tackles kind of guy. He can even do a little bit outside zone, 88 acceleration. I can run I'm a zone running team, so he can get to the edge occasionally and not be horrible, especially he's got an 82 juke, so I can hit a cutback with that juke as well. So it's not horrible for a rookie. So I'll definitely have to look to upgrade that in a season, and this off season. But James Devlin, which I'm going to have a cut because I don't use fullbacks. Love James Devlin in real life, but fullback I formation blocking stuff, they're just horrible. Like, I have plays where James Devlin will run right at the outside backer who he's supposed to kick out. Well, they don't kick out in the game. They just fold him in or log him in or just straight up block him, and you have to guess which way you think the defender's going to shed it. So not only do fullbacks not actually block like they do in real life, but he's definitely underrated. He's got what's his run blocking? Did I pass it? Yeah, 60. That needs to be in the mid-70s. I mean, he's got a really good lead block, which is realistic, but his run blocking needs to be like a 78. He's one of the best blocking fullbacks. But that's enough about fullbacks. I'll have to cut him and pick someone up. Julian Edelman, really good in the game. A little bit slower than I would like. I wish he was like an 87, 88, but I don't care. I don't need speed at receivers. Great route runner, great hands, great run after the catch. He has undisciplined penalty trait. What the hell is that for a Bill Belichick coach team? But he's got all the good traits other than that. And then he has the Slotomatic, so better cuts and hands on shorter routes. And then if he ever gets to a 90 overall, he'll have the cross specialist, where he'll have better routes running or better, rates running crossing routes, which is okay. Wish he had like a jukebox ability, or he had more than just one ability. I think he should have 2 or 3 for sure. But oh well. Demaryius Thomas. So Julian Edelman's my slot receiver. Thomas and Dorsett line up on the perimeter because I run a majority 11 personnel. And Thomas is okay, but what kills me is that drops open pass rating. That is the bane of my existence right now with him. I'll throw a deep in, he'll get absolutely annihilated by a defender, hang on perfectly, and then I'll throw a quick slant wide open, boom, ball just bounces off his hands. So he's very hit or miss. He's good to have for a year because he's athletic still. Apparently, when you tear your Achilles, you don't get worse as a player. He can still juke a little bit, spin a little bit, decent great ball carrier vision, decent trucking. So he's still a physical, run after the catch kind of guy. Athletic on jump balls, spec catch, good release, good route running, decent catch, good catch in traffic. Overall, he's still a good player for a year, which is why I kept him and moved Josh Gordon and Cam Meredith. We had traded Josh Gordon for a third, traded Cam Meredith for a third and Max Williams, which we'll get to the tight ends in a minute. Love Philip Dorsett. He's the only player with athleticism on this receiving core. Okay route runner, which is shocking. I don't know how in the hell he got a 79 short and then 77. And this is why I have a huge issue with Madden. Philip Dorsett is not a 77 overall. He should be a 72 to a 73 max. I'm fine if you want to give him decent hands and he's speedy and all that stuff and can jump, spec catch. The route running, the short should be a 72 max, the medium should be a 70 max, and deep should be a 65 max. And his awareness should be a hell of a lot lower than where it is. Was it like a 74, 76? I can't even see it. I'm missing it right now. Why in the world is it not? Why would you not show awareness on this screen? All right, we'll go back and find his awareness. 81 awareness. Hell no. I know you play for New England, so maybe give it a 5-point bonus. No way in hell he has an 81 awareness. So, and he's got keep feet in bounds, run after, drops passes. Of course he does. I didn't even realize he had that. That's absolutely fantastic. But overall, he's decent. Who will eventually surpass him on the perimeters? N'Keal Harry, the rookie. I've been trying to get him involved, but I don't even think he's had a catch yet. Yeah, he hasn't. He's played 2 games so far, 25 downs. I want to see game by game because he's starting to, 14 downs last game, then he had 11 the first game. So he's slowly starting to get in the game a little bit more, trying to use him and get him involved, but it just hasn't happened yet. The routes that I think that he'd be decent on, just a quick slant, a quick dig, a curl, he just hasn't, his route running is so low and his release isn't great where he can just get pressed on the line like crazy. And then obviously for depth, Maurice Harris, ain't nothing going to really happen with him. Braxton Berrios is decent because he's actually a little bit faster out of the slot than, say, a Julian Edelman, and his catching isn't awful at all either. 78, 77 is not great, but at least he doesn't have the drops open passes trait like Philip Dorsett does. So overall, he's not awful. He'll develop decent for me here. Tight ends made some big moves. Cut bait with Ben Watson. We now have 2 fairly young athletic guys. I have Ian Thomas for 3 more years on a cheap deal. Jeremy Sprinkle for 2 more years on a cheap deal. Max Williams, I believe it's his last year on this deal. He might have 1 more year at, which would be nice if he had 2. I think he only signed a 1 year. Yeah, it's only a 1 year deal. So they ate the bonus. I kept this, but I now have 3 younger tight ends. Max Williams, I'm a gopher. I love the Gophers. Go Gophers, all that fun stuff. So I had to trade for him. Been trying to for Madden's. He's a decent player. He's not doing too bad so far on the year. I think he's got over 100 yards total on the year. He's got 10 catches for $157. So he's already his second best year ever. Ian Thomas is a guy I'm really excited about. As much as I love Max Williams, Ian Thomas emerged last game and had a great second game. For me, all of his stuff came in the second game. 4 catches, 80 yards. He's just so athletic, and he's a good player after the catch. He's got a good trucking, good stiff arm. 72 stiff arm. Where's his 68 trucking, which isn't too bad for a tight end, but he has the possession catch, fight for yards, keep in bounds, high motor. He's got all really good traits, which help. He's not a good run blocker at all. But he's fast and okay hands, so he'll develop a little bit for me here. Jeremy Sprinkles, same boat pretty much. Offensive line, I think it's a top 3 O-line in the game. First off, I think it's like the second or first best offensive line in the league in the actual NFL. In the game, it's top 3, maybe 4 in the game. Cowboys might still be better because they have those 3 studs. Eagles are probably better because they have those 4 really good players, a rookie left tackle. I mean, you have a whole lot left guard in the Eagles offense. Falcons and CFM are good because they have 2 good young, or not good, because rookies rated horrible in this game compared to everyone else. Which I'm fine with as long as you tone down everyone else. They only touched like O-line, quarterbacks, and rookies. And then they left all the tight ends extremely just fucking overrated. The running backs are overrated. The receivers are. And then just decided hey, we're good from just those three positions. We'll work on the next ones next year. Anyways, Isaiah Wynn is getting better and better as the weeks go because I'm training him, focus training him in the O-line a little bit here and there. Decent blocking stuff. If this is your worst offensive lineman on your team, you're doing really good. You're doing really good. Joe Thuney needs to be re-signed this year, but I'm absolutely going to do that. Great pass blocking guard, decent enough athleticism, and he's a good run blocker. Better run block finesse than anything, but still a solid player. Undisciplined penalty trait. Why? The New England offensive line is one of the least penalized in the... Ted Karras is an okay depth player. David Andrews, really good center. Where do we got? Balance penalty. They should all be low. But, he's a great center. Great run blocker. Good pass blocker. Shaq Mason, one of the best guards in the game. Athletic, strong, great run blocker, really good pass blocker. They all have the high motor trait too, which is nice. Marcus Cannon, really good tackle for at least a couple years, great run blocker. Not as good of a pass blocker as an undisciplined penalty trait. Why in the world is he undisciplined? My goodness. Michael Bennett. I'm running a 3-4 on defense, so Michael Bennett is that 4-eye technique. I like to have him more outside of the guard as opposed to head up inside. That's kind of where I like Michael Bennett to line up as. But he can do it. He's got a great block shed, good finesse still, good power moves, good tackle pursuit. He's still a really good player for a year or two. Xavier Cooper's just some depth. Lawrence Guy is a stud on the inside as it comes to run blocking. I prefer him to be that 3 technique, 2-eye, 1 shade, especially in sub packages. I like him that no shade, 2-eye kind of look, and then prefer Bennett to be that 3 technique, 4-eye, 4 technique. Dietrich Wise, solid interior depth as well. Can't play the run worth shit in this game with a 60 block shed, but power moves okay, athletic enough. Can tackle at least. Defensive tackle, Danny Shelton's a decent nose. I mean, he only comes in when I'm running base. And, 350, 72 block shed, good strength at 93, good tackle, good hip power. He's okay. Mike Pennell Jr., same thing, just 1 block shed lower, few, ticks of strength lower. So they're not awful for only coming in on base looks. And with, all these spread shotgun RPO plays that are in the game, it's less and less than opposed to previous Maddens. So defensive tackle nose guard for me isn't a high priority, and it never will be as long as I'm a 3-4 team. But, I'm happy with this depth. I don't need to throw a lot of money in there. Now, this is where I'm pretty excited about. We signed Nick Perry as a 1-year free agent to an $18 million deal. So now I actually have some decent pass rushers. I can keep Nick Perry on the edge where he has good pass rush moves, 70 okay pass rush moves, 80 power moves. He's a good edge setter in terms of blocking. 66 finesse moves is absolutely horrible, but it's better than Hightower, who's the same thing on the edge as Nick Perry, except he can actually drop into coverage a little bit. So they're just versatile edge defenders, which is, in New England, what they like. This team's built for a 3-4 in Madden, much more so than a 4-3. I coach the 3-4, so 3-4 for me is what I prefer in real life. Madden, I prefer a 4-3 just because it's easier and not as wonky in terms of the force edge defenders, all that fun, high-term, techie stuff. Chase Winovich is a good guy that I'm going to be developing here. Eventually, he'll take over a starting role within a year or two. Inside backers, Kyle Van Noy, Juwan Bentley, Landon Roberts. Acquired Damian Wilson off waivers the other week, so I'll have him for a season or two. So I like my linebackers. I'll need to find a replacement for Kyle Van Noy because I'm sure he'll die with regression after a year. And then John Simon, depth for a year. Derek Rivers, another guy. Hopefully he can still develop a little bit before Whenever he's got 72 finesse moves. I think he's already the best finesse rusher on my team right now, which is sad. So he's the best speed rusher I have right now at a 66 overall. Corners, I have one of the best secondaries in the game. I mean, Jason McCourty just got hurt, so he'll be out 4 more weeks. I think he pulled his upper arm fracture. I thought it was pulled his hamstring or something. So that's decent. He had a pick his first game before he got hurt. So I will go to season stats. He had 10 tackles and a pick. So he was balling out. It's not good if your corners are constantly making tackles, though. That's why we lost by a point in game one because of that field goal glitch. Could have tied the game up, but nah. The meter's just going to go away. Finally got Stephon Gilmore in the zone last game, and oh my gosh, when he's in the zone, that is insane. He broke up like 2 passes in a row in the zone. It is ridiculous to throw on those guys. His man-up ability actually makes him a really good man defender. And then the acrobat where he can do that diving and increased range and stuff, that is just absolutely insane. Like, he'll have 5 yards of gap between a player who's running a route where you're like, okay, Gilmore can get there to make the tackle. Maybe it'll have a contact drop or something. But no, he'll sprint in and dive through that and knock it out. He is a great corner, great man coverage, great zone. He can do anything. He's not the greatest tackler, but I don't need my corners to be great tacklers. Just be solid, be okay. He's just, overall, he's a great player. Really happy New England went out and paid him a boatload. Not only for Madden, but real life. He's a great corner. Jonathan Jones, J.C. Jackson stepped outside in McCourty's absence, and then because J.C.'s normally my slot defender, and then Jonathan Jones inserted himself into the slot. I like J.C. Jackson a ton. Good, athletic, young, physical man corner. Little undersized, but overall still a good player. High motor, strip ball, undisciplined, penalty tendency. Come on. This is the fucking New England Patriots. My God, they don't commit this many damn penalties. Had 2 picks last game, which was really good to see him get in there and get a couple. Wish he would have housed one of them, but he got a few yards. Jonathan Jones is just that athletic player. Going to be a good slot for me, especially when Jason McCourty dies due to regression. He'll be able to walk in free agency, or I could trade him for something and then have J.C. Jackson move outside, Jonathan Jones to the slot, and then I still have Gilmore on the outside, and then progressing Joejuan Williams, second-round pick from Vanderbilt University. He's not athletic a ton, but he's a nice, big, physical press corner. He's not going to be a burner, and that's a little concerning for me. He's not a great tackler. Like I said, but I don't need corners to be good tacklers. Just cover. So I have to work up his man and zone a little bit. Hopefully his press can go up too, and he can be that nice physical press corner. Keon Cross and a nice athletic. I like my corners a lot. Safety, Devin McCourty. Now, going back to Hightower, the fact that Donta Hightower and Devin McCourty aren't superstar ability players, absolutely just pathetic to me. I understand maybe Hightower because he's been hurt a little bit, but after the Super Bowls he's had, how does he not just have 1 or 2 superstar abilities? Same with Devin McCourty. I think they absolutely need to have them because they're both really good players. And I think Hightower himself is extremely underrated. But McCourty's still an elite safety. 92 zone, 85 man, very fast, can tackle. If you wanted to move him to a damn corner, he'd be a great corner. Strip ball, high motor, disciplined, aggressive play ball. Not the greatest. He can tackle, but he's not going to sit there and lay the hammer on you, which I don't need in my safeties to lay the wood. Just cover and wrap up if the ball gets to you. Duke Dawson's a guy who hopefully can take over. He's very similar to McCourty, an athletic, undersized safety who can play man and zone. And he can actually, hit a little bit more of the wood than McCourty already. So hopefully he can eventually progress a little bit. Um, Safeties, Deron Harmon's a great backup. You know, he can play strong, he can play free. He's the backup. Like, if any of them go down, he's going in first. Chung, I like as well. He's the guy I'll use her a lot in the secondary because he actually has that good hit power. So I can come down and lay the wood on those over the middle that just defenders will not react to. Run a decent amount of cover six. So he's normally the guy that's that kind of mid to that cover four side. He's normally that inside safety on the cover four side of it. And he's fun just when people think they have a dig wide open in the middle of the field. I come flying down with Chung and just absolutely annihilate them. That's always fun. But he has decent man, good zone. He turned himself around when he left New England the first time to go to Philly. Had a rough last year in New England, rough year in Philly. Came back to New England and has been a really good player ever since he's returned. So glad he's finally getting a plus 80 overall. Gostowski, good kicker. Kept the young punter just because he has a better kick power and is cheaper. Simple as that. Now, in terms of our trades, we have default the fourth pick from Chicago. So to get Ian Thomas, we sent a third to Carolina. We sent Josh Gordon to Cleveland to get a third. We sent Cam Meredith to get a third from Arizona and Max Williams. So we got a good young tight end who's already contributed for us for a third, but we gave up two receivers that we weren't going to use after this year and weren't going to play a ton this year. And Josh Gordon would have played, but he was not going to be re-signed. So we got two thirds from them and a starting tight end. So I like those moves. And then we have 4 7th-round picks because I just begged them to give me seventh because I'm trying to get 7 7th-round picks at least, hoping for 10 7th-round picks. That's my goal. We don't have a fifth, but we have a ton of picks that we can do some damage with. Future. We'll take a look at the schedule real quick. We've already played 2 games, and I forgot to do this earlier. Sorry, first game of the new cycle, first season, so it wasn't on my mind. First game, we lost by a point due to that field goal meter glitch. Lined up, scored it 31-30. There's like 2:08 left, if that, maybe sub 2 minutes. We're like, all right, here we go. I just went normal, and I was like, all right, well, the meter's not here, and I've already started the field goal process, so that's fantastic. But other than that, we we had 509 yards of offense, 140 yards rushing, 370 passing. You know, gained a total of 616 yards. We both had 2 turnovers, which wasn't great, but I went 3 of 7 on fourth, which wasn't my best day on third down either. Brady played well. I mean, 2 picks, one of which I'm trying to remember. One of them, I had a crossing route. Devin Bush was just too fast and could recover. Forgot he had Devin Bush for a minute. Otherwise, I wouldn't have thrown it. And the other one, it was a screen. My running back got hooked on the tackle as I threw it, and he was able to pick six it with a defender. So that was fun. Completed 81% of my throws. Run game was really good. Should have ran it probably a little bit more, but Michelle and White both had really good games. We stopped the run really well. Held them to under like 80 yards rushing. James White was James White was a star. Edelman had a great game. Demaryius Thomas was really good. Max Williams was decent. That's about it. Dorsett had a catch for a touchdown. We only got sacked once. And then against Miami. Now, don't be fooled. The score looks like I dominated, but I didn't. Had a couple bad picks. I had one of the interceptions. The defensive back, I ran a speed out route with Julian Edelman. No, it was with Max Williams. Had about 5 yards of separation. Defensive back had his back turned to the player. Threw it. The DB like warped to pick six it. Had another one where I threw it and it was just a complete oversail to be an interception. And then I don't remember the other one. I think the other one was just my fault making a wrong read. But 2 of those were pretty awful. Threw 466. Other than those 3 picks, had a good game, which sucks. I hate throwing those interceptions. Sony Michel had 100 yards rushing. James White had 3 for 20. Brady had 10. So 2 games in a row where we're over, where were we? 129. Oh, we were actually, because he had 7 yards as well on a carry. So had over 130 rush yards, I believe. Edelman, Max Williams had over 100 yards. James White, 87. Ian Thomas, almost 80. So when you can get 2 tight ends to have over 80 yards receiving, a slot, and a running back, you're clicking. So my perimeter players didn't really do much at all. It was pouring rain this game, too. So Gostowski, I missed a field goal and an extra point. It was just a sloppy game in general for me. Yeah, but we got out a win. 136 rush yards to 28. We almost had as many rushing yards as they had passing. So, yeah. We'll look at the rest of the schedule. Face Kia and the Jets. That's going to be a rough game. That's going to be, even though he's got a rough team, he's still a great user. That's going to be fun. Bills, good user, bad roster. Schley with the Redskins, good user. Coach Smith, Giants, horrible roster. Decent enough user where that'll be competitive and a good game. Kia again. Thank God I get done with Kia after week 7. Jared and the Browns, great user. X-Men and the Ravens, great user. Bobby and the Eagles, great user. New user, one of the 2 or 3 new users this season in the Cowboys, so we'll see how that is. Great user, bad roster. Well, I guess bad O-line. Good user, great team. Great user, roster. And then we end again with Bills, Dolphins. So AFC is stacked this year. So I kind of penciled in probably 12-4, 11-5. Losing a week 1 game that I had a chance to win hurts because of a glitch, so that could potentially be a 11-5, 10-6 now, unless I get on a roll here. Especially towards the end of the years when it eases off. Hopefully can snag 4 out of these last 5, or 5 out of the last 6, and then steal a decent amount of these games here. Would like to win both against Kia Season 1, but most likely will just end up being a split. And then that looks like about it. Well, we'll go through what we're running on offense real quick with our playbook. We'll quickly show that and then wrap this video up on what I'm doing. So on offense, there are a decent amount of air raid-ish concepts. I'll have a lot of your sticks, your mesh, shallow cross, etc., stuff like that. But overall, we're kind of going for that Sean McVay-ish style of offense. A lot of 11 personnel, consistently a zone running team. Yeah, we do have some power stuff because we have a versatile and smart offense to do it. I have 1 spread play, just real quick. That's just kind of like my passing sets where I have some fun little like speed, just some speed, fly plays, that halfback motion stuff, some screens, etc. Y cross, verts. That's kind of my fun. Just throw in there for wide package. Then I got my single back stuff, a lot of 11 personnel, dice slot, doubles Y off, just to give a few different looks. Trio, Y trips to give me those. I can go trips away from the tight end, and then trips including tight end stuff. Single back bunch, tight Y off, just a couple compressed sets here. If a defense isn't respecting, or I'm just annoyed with how they're playing, then I'll just compress set cheese them a little bit there. Double south, there's a few decent running and passing stuff there that I like, some of the speed sweeps. Then we get into a couple heavier stuff because I still need to be able to power it out with these tight ends I have. Ace pair, wing tight. And then this play should have been right before, in between these 2 plays, but I accidentally removed it when I was editing, and it's a lot of work to re-get it there. So it's sitting at the edge here. Otherwise, my playbook would be perfect just the way I like it. I really like wing tight this year. You have your Y stick, you have your X post, dagger, mesh. I wish that they had these like power alert. If they just had power instead of power alert X looky, that's one of my biggest pet peeves this year. You still have your jet sweep too, is that they removed plays. Like I should be able to just run regular stretch if I want without the RPO. I love the RPO stuff in the game. It's fine. I enjoy it. But I just like to have the option. Like it's why I removed a lot of my I formation stuff. Why do I want a halfback ISO play to have an RPO on it? I'm handing it off for a reason up the middle, trying to smash it there. I don't need to sit there and have those wonky animations with those DBs or whatever flying into the field or upfield to disturb it when I want to hand it off, especially in a sim league where we limit how many RPOs you can use. So, gun, I have gun doubles, doubles offset, doubles weak offset. Main reason for that is they all do a few different things. That's rather annoying that they don't all have the same plays. The fact that doubles and doubles offset don't both have the exact same Texas play pisses me off. The only difference is how that halfback lines up. That should not change how the other players do it. So here in doubles, you get this crap. So you get halfback angle. Actually, no, this is the one that has it. You get halfback angle Texas, which is fine. Love that route. Puts a really, especially against cover 2, puts a ton of pressure on that user backer. Okay? We'll go to gun doubles offset, and this is the crap you get out of this one. Angle smash. You get an out route there. What in the hell is that going to do? That user backer is just going to sit there perfectly. So I don't know why in the world that tight end isn't on another seam route. So you have to basically you have to hot route him to a streak, and that's not even still a seam route, so he's whatever. Halfback weak for the doubles. I like it. The only reason I have offset weak in the doubles is for these like that orbit motion, which I call it a storm motion. That's just what I call it in my offense. Got a couple RPO bubbles, etc. And then you have the Y flex offset, double Y flex off weak, just so I can run to and away from the tight end. Trips tight end offset, and then the same thing just with the tight end flexed out, so I can have a flexed or not tight end. Mad, they removed trips Y ISO, because that was the third part to this. I have the tight end attached in, he's flexed out, and then boom, he's all the way out wide. Love that formation. It's gone. I'm extremely upset with that. But then they kept Trey Y ISO, which is absolutely horrible. So, trips Y weak, offset, just because they have some different things, which pisses me off. So, of course, I have to have both of them in there. Trey open offset, same damn thing. Then I have my gun bunch wide, tight offset, split close pats, in case people get annoying and I need to compress cheese them. Split flex, which they removed half the plays in here. There were 21 plays to add last year. Now there were only 10 this year. And they removed some of my favorite like tight end fly motion stuff. So this is all that's left that's usable to me. Split offset, just some 2-back stuff here, split slot. Couple of ace offset, ace slot offset. A lot of offset downhill running stuff. And then my empty stuff. So that's kind of the offense that we are running. We're a 3-4 team that we just added a few nickel stuff. Yeah. It was great. Great to go ahead and finally get an offense that works in everything. So, anyways, that's going to wrap this up. Play Kia and the Jets next week. So, fun. Thanks for watching, anyone who did. Go ahead and we'll see you for that next video.